Hey families, and happy Easter week. We are so excited about all that's coming up, and I love this chapter that we just read, talking about comfortable Christianity and how that can lead to rebellion in our kids. So I'm going to jump in because the most of the time that we have today, I want to share the story with you about a family in our church that is not living a comfortable Christian life. I love how he describes comfortable Christianity like this. He says, kids who are encouraged to live life as a great spiritual adventure don't have much time for rebellion. He said, families that live passionate frontline lives for Jesus Christ can still have kids who rebel, but that's unusual. Rebels are rare in those homes because the Christianity the kids are exposed to isn't canned, academic, or the outgrowth of worn-out tradition. Instead, the living, breathing, moving presence of God permeates all ideas, all plans, and all priorities. He talks about sometimes we get in the trap of living a Christian life that's just convenient. We love God, we love people, we love church, we love the Bible, we do good things, but he's saying that we do those without any kind of risk, right? We're just in our comfortable little homes, our comfortable little worlds, and we're not putting our faith out there in a way that is involving risk. He says their primary spiritual growth already happened. It's not in the present. What they do for God, they do well, but because it doesn't press them hard or demand much from them, they can function in commendable ways without having to take real risk. They can be doing very good things, but if the truth were told, they're on spiritual cruise control. He says, on the other hand, though, when we're living our Christian faith in a way that's not just comfortable, but we're stretching ourselves, we are pursuing God passionately, we are living on mission, we're serving others, we're serving the church, when we're living out an authentic faith, that really makes a difference to our kids. He says, you demonstrate to your children by your actions that what you believe is not only the truth, but it is a truth that works. Let me tell you, I highlighted a million things in this, and we'll be bringing it out on the Facebook post this week. But I want to tell you about a family who are currently choosing not to live a comfortable Christian life. I promise not to use names, but it's a family within our church. Mom, dad, total of 6 kids, 5 kids living in the house, all older, teenagers, middle school and up. And they this year, or in the past 2 years, have gotten very, very plugged in to a local ministry working with the homeless, to the point that every Saturday they get up and go. Now I want you to imagine a middle school boy passionately getting up, excited to go and see his friends, his homeless friends, every single Saturday. Well, that's what this family has been doing and what they committed to. Well, last school year, one of the older sons had received a challenge at school, had been given $20, and had been given a challenge to use that $20 to go and help other people. What he then encouraged his family to do is they took that $20 and they decided that was going to be their grocery money. So, all right, so get this. They already were giving much of their time and much of their energy to serve the homeless, but they wanted to stretch themselves a little bit more. And so they decided they were going to take that $20 and they were going to feed their family off of that for a week. So now they could identify and they could experience what their friends who are in poverty were living. And then they were going to take their grocery budget and donate it to the ministry that they had been working with. And so to talk to this mama during the week, this was an experience that totally stretched their faith, that stretched who they were, that helped them learn to depend on God, that helped them learn to do what to do when they were pretty grumpy because they didn't have food. It gave them a whole different perspective. I remember her calling me and said, Jenny, I was fine until I just burned the black beans and I am out of money. And so it was just really, really interesting to watch, and a real challenge to me about what am I doing in my home to continually stretch and encourage my kids that Christianity is not just something that's on a shelf, right? Our love and our relationship with Jesus is not just something that's comfortably packaged and is just easy for us to do. Yeah, it made me think of another family that had my ministry years ago in another state, whose child had accepted Christ. This was a church-going family, loved Jesus, pretty regular in church. Child accepted Christ at VBS, and I couldn't talk to them. I couldn't track them down long enough to talk to them about baptism. Finally caught them in the Dollar Tree or something. And so I asked Mom, I said, well, so-and-so accepted Christ at VBS. We're so excited about that. I know we've talked about that. When can we work on scheduling baptism? And her response was something along the line of, we got baseball and we got this and we got that. We just haven't had room for that extra stuff. And it broke my heart because what is that communicating to this child? Jesus is just this thing that fits in this box. Another thing that Dr. Kimmel points out is that for us to help our kids live a life that's beyond just comfortable Christianity, God is not just in this church box that's a little part of our week. God is part of everything. And so as we look at how we can help our kids not just live a comfortable life, is help them realize that our relationship with Jesus affects every part of it. How do we live on mission when we're on the ball field? How does a relationship with Christ affect what we do in math class? How does it affect what kind of neighbors we are to the people around us? And so my prayer for all of our families is that we are looking for ways to stretch our kids and stretch our families, where Jesus isn't just this thing that we do on the side, but we are living in passionate ways that sometimes involve risk, sometimes involve sacrifice, sometimes involve some cost, sometimes involve us stepping way out of our comfort zone in order to see what He wants to do within our kids. Again, let me say this quote one more time. Kids who are encouraged to live life as a great spiritual adventure don't have much time for rebellion. So my question for you this week, and what we'll talk about on the page, is what are some ways in our families we can create not just this safe, comfortable, read your Bible Christian life, but a great spiritual adventure where our kids see what faith and truth mean in action. Look forward to talking to you about it this week. Bye-bye.